Now, here's perhaps the toughest question of all, and that would be the true test of this particular documentary. If, let's say, a campaigner for John McCain came into this room right now and talked to you about the economy and how McCain views the economy. Or let's say Rush Limbaugh comes in. Let's say Rush Limbaugh isn't even campaigning for McCain, but he looks at this documentary and he sees the message that it presents. And Rush Limbaugh's answer might be something along the lines of, I'll pretend to be Rush Limbaugh if I possibly can. The economy is not in a recession. The economy is perking along. All these liberal Democrats, it was just liberal Democrats who put this documentary together, and they never had an ounce of sense among them, and perhaps they should just go fly a kite. That's how much intelligence they have. They probably don't have enough intelligence to tie a string on the end of a kite and to tell us with these funny-looking graphs and cartoons whether or not the documentary, whether or not this thing is legitimate. It's not legitimate. We're not in a recession. We're going great.
That was an excellent that's definitely Rush Limbaugh.
Well, does the documentary provide you enough convincing evidence to overturn arguments that would come from someone like Rush Limbaugh? Is it convincing enough? That's a tough question, because really, Anna?
One thing I saw in the critics' reviews is that if you look at the last review on Metacritic, there was something from, I believe it was the San Francisco Chronicle, that said that the graphs were a little too inflated or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but it said that
You actually read a critique.
Yeah.
Fascinating. James?
So.
Oh, I was just going to kind of take back what I said about it not really being against any political party, because I was just thinking about the timeline where they had I just get past most of it, where they had when Clinton was in office and how it went down, how the deficit went down. And then it just showed, when Bush got in, that it, doubled and all that kind of stuff. And I think that definitely would hurt, any Republican unless they, denounce Bush as, a Republican or something. They have to, denounce any kind of thing he didn't put into place.
See, the reason I come back to the question of credibility and whether it was convincing is back to the book and back to what this class is all about. How do you show or present visual evidence? And Hampy will tell you, he even wrote the line, it's almost impossible to depict. Quote, economy is the dismal science, end quote. What do you have to go on? I'm almost through with this line of inquiry. What do you have to go on from this documentary which persuades you that it's legit, that it's convincing, that it's, we've really got a problem in our hands? What have you got to go on?
Facts, the stats.
Not just the facts, not just the stats. You got to look, I think, and I'll just go ahead and give you my take on this, I think you've got to look at the credibility of the people who are speaking. I think you've got to vet them. I think you've got to know something about Alan Greenspan. You've got to know something about Paul O'Neill, the former Treasury Secretary of the United States under Bush II, Bush 43 as he's sometimes called. The credibility of people like Ron Paul, who was a Republican candidate. I see you.
Mr. Facebook himself.
Yeah. Ron Paul was liked by a whole bunch of young people in this country when he was running.
Legalize every drug under the sun, from what I understand.
And he had such an issue with printing money. Ka-chunk, 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 can't print so much money. I still can't get my mind around why he thinks that. But he does. But it wasn't just him. It was the movie seemed to revolve strongly around, what was his name? David Walker? Is that who that was? From the General Accounting Office? Or David, do you remember?
Bixby? Maybe there was somebody with the last name Bixby in there.
And the guy with the messy desk. Messy desk, but he seemed to be very, very credible as far as his credentials were concerned. That's all you have to go on. And the question is one of trust in a way. And Is that good enough to carry a documentary's message? Just to have people talk, and graphs, and charts. Is it good enough?
I think that one was.
Yeah, well...
I mean, at the least, I think it
is,
at least make somebody hungry enough to, like, want to know more about it.
It is both the strength and the weakness of that type of documentary, I would argue with you. If you're going to have a documentary like that, it's probably best to get the best guns you got.